everyone, welcome to my channel, Time for Truth. My name's Christina, and today we're going to be talking about wild things and wild places. This is a book that I found at the thrift store. It's actually the, what do they call it when they have the uncorrected proof? But there's the actual cover as it was in the proofing stage. It's a really interesting book by Jane Alexander. I hope everybody's doing well today. It is Monday, and we've been in a cold snap here in Delaware. Very cold, a lot of winds and stuff. So it was kind of nice out today, though. The sun's shining, and yeah, I had to go out for a doctor's appointment, but it was a good doctor's appointment, so that's wonderful. I'm still talking about caregiving for my mom and the trials and tribulations of that, including the legal community in Logan, Utah. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. But in Jane Alexander's book, she quotes Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So I am a believer in that. We forge our own path. So we are all given free will through our choices. Our choices are half chance, just like everybody else's. That's just how it is. And one of the little sayings that I've been carrying with me for years and years and years, out of a newspaper. You can see it's torn, but I like lacquered it with tape. But I'm going to read it because I think it's really cool. It's by Joe Flying By of the Standing Rock Reservation, South Dakota. He's a Lakota medicine man. We have one chance. If you do good every day, you will go to the spirit world and see other good people on the other side. If not, you will not see them. There will be a scale in the spirit world. It's going to balance whatever you do. If you do a lot of good, it's going to weigh down the evil world. If the evil side is heavy, you're dead. You're done. There's no chance for you. You're only breath traveling on the wind. In your life, you must have pity. There are so many people on the street nowadays. They ask if you can spare this much. If you give, if you have charity, good thinking, you've done good. You don't have to worry that when they take it, they go to the liquor store. That's not you. You did already good. You have to kind of relax in this hurry life. Sit down for a while. Rest while you're thinking. This will give you time to see straight. Then you will get the idea what life is. You must tell your need in prayer. Control your mind from thinking bad ideas and be in contact with the Creator, Wakan Tonka. He'll understand what kind of person you are. Nobody around but you say the word. He has ears that can hear you, long way off. He were like ants far away. He looked down. In this modern time, you have to do your best yourself. That's your answer to what is life. You can't depend on people to direct you. You must do it yourself. You're doing. You're thinking. The answers to the meaning of life are inside you. So I really take that to heart because in my experience, it's true. You know, we may take the road less traveled, and that's our choice. And then we have stories to tell. And that's what my channel is about here, the stories that I have to tell. You know, they're not always happy stories, but they're the stories that have been presented to me on the path that I chose to take. And I guess on that note, I want to share something also very positive. I was looking through some, like printing out some of the things that that will help me to narrate what's going on. I've presented this much so far. But when I was going through things for this broadcast, here's what I found. A note from my godmother, dated November of 2018. So this was not long after my mother had been taken from me. And I sent her notes and cards. She's in Culver City, California. She was a wonderful lady. May she rest in peace. And I know she and my mom are up there giggling about all their old times in California. When my father was in Vietnam and my Uncle George was in, I believe he was in the Navy. So, yeah, I come from a family of military men who served this great nation so that we can all enjoy the freedoms that we have. So she goes on to say about thank you for all the notes and the little goodies. She loves all the little different note papers that I use. So a big thank you. She's sorry that I'm as far away from my mom. Wish it was closer so I could visit, which we know from Legacy House of Logan, I would have been shut out too. So she says that she sent cards and letters, but she did not expect an answer back, meaning that's her polite way of saying that she didn't hear back. Just hope all is going okay and getting the help she needs at this time. She's always a dear to me, and sorry she is going through this illness at this time. So she was happy for my husband and I because we do the motorhoming thing, and she and my uncle did the motorhoming thing, and they came up to visit the father of my child, my then husband at that time, when we lived in Citrus Heights. They pulled up in their motorhome. My uncle never left California with this motorhome, apparently, so that was always something she kind of razzed him about. But anyways, I found that note, and you know, it was really hard because that was, you know, about a year before my mom died. So then I was off to the races with the lawyers in Utah trying to figure out what the heck was going on, and calling around, letting them know that my mom had been taken there, what to do. And then, as I had explained in previous broadcasts, in December of 2019, my mom was very, very sick and she died. And then I received notice of it the day after my mother's death, even though my mom had been in the hospital for at least 5 days, since I had been calling over the holiday, Christmas holiday. She went to the hospital after I heard her, intervened. I don't know what happened. I wasn't advised. All I can do is come to the conclusion that she ended up in the hospital, and by the 27th, she was dead. And on the 28th, I received a phone call from my brother Jim telling me that my mother had died. So that was the 28th of December. And they were taking control, thinking that they still had control over what was going to happen with my mom. So the power of attorney is now gone, her fraudulent power of attorney, because upon death, the power of attorney is no longer in existence, and up comes the will. So I called around. I thought that I had hired a lawyer by probably the 30th, the end of December, I think, because I was calling, again, telling my story, sounding like the crazy person that just landed off the moon, trying to convince lawyers to please help me, and this one did. Ashley Bowen. She's with HAO Law. I thought I had found a good law firm. I thought, you know, if a senator is the head of a law firm, then they must be legit. Hilliard, Anderson, and Olson. And I felt such a relief I believe by the new year, by the end of December, I believe that I had hired her, provided her with the money requested for them to start working on it. She asked me to send her documents verifying what I had told her. Ashley's the one who told me that, what is this about the protection from abuse order? And I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, what is that even? What's going on? And by February, I'm not even going to start in February. I'm going to stay in December and January. She had asked me to send her documents. Of course, I did that. I had everything together because I had everything together in trying to advocate for my mom back when she was first taken. So now I'm pulling all of that out and now calling lawyers for probate. So I sent her all the documents as attachments. I gave her some background. I even included a recording, that recording that I referenced in a previous broadcast about recording my mom when she called me from the caller ID in Utah. And first and foremost was that after I sent all the emails that Ashley asked me for, I didn't hear back from her. And I thought, okay, you know, I guess they do what they do and I just should wait. But then I didn't hear anything. So I sent another, I think I called and talked to her paralegal, and I'm like, you know, oh no, we didn't receive anything. So this is now 2 weeks after I've hired this woman, paid the retainer, thinking in my mind that the professional is doing what the professional is supposed to do. I provided her with the documents, but no. For some reason, my email was cached into their server and never sent to her. And I have proof of that where she tells opposing counsel, P.S. I've been having some email issues, which is why I'm sending from my personal Gmail account. But I would appreciate it if you would please reply all so that your response gets sent to my work email as well. This was on January 14th. So this is a lawyer that I hired who's now telling opposing counsel, who produced an improper power of attorney over my mother, naming my sister, is telling me, no, I didn't get any of your emails and I don't know what's happening. And gosh, I guess we need to start from now, 2 weeks later. So I asked her, we had the hearing. There was going to be a hearing coming up about something or another, the first hearing. And I asked, first they tried to delay the hearing by saying that, oh, we need more time. Oh, we can't do this. We can't get there. My siblings. We need to have a continuance because they didn't expect me to fight back. And all of a sudden, they're now having to hire a lawyer. So anyways, I was dealing with Harrison at HAO Law, and my lawyer had gone out on vacation, hadn't sent the subpoenas for the Delaware State Police or from Gold Creek, telling me it was a nightmare already. Here, my mom's died. I'm grieving, trying to grieve, trying to come to grips with everything. And now I'm trying to hire lawyers who tell me that my emails are cached in their server. The IT department's having to be involved to release the emails to the lawyer who's spending the money already and not doing anything. So that was Ashley Bowen. So then when I asked her why she hadn't listened to the recording that I had provided to her for before the first hearing, she didn't like it that I questioned her. And so then she terminated me as a client. That was what happened with that. But not before she called out Breton Hatfield. So once my emails got uncached from their server and she was able to actually review her client's information 2 weeks later, she began letting Breton Hatfield know that, hey, Pam, it does not have authority over Janice Pratt's property. She's not entitled to make decisions. We would like to see the power of attorney that Pamela Pratt was operating under. And Breton all of a sudden is, oh no, who's this random person in Maryland? So Breton saying, we haven't determined we're going to represent Jim and David. Oh no, Jim and David are like, oh no, I have to hire a lawyer? What do you mean? Oh, all I did was whatever. Oh, yeah. The old, what is it? Yeah, what comes around goes around. So here we have Ashley on January 27th, Ashley Bowen, corresponding, and she sent me all of these emails with Breton Hatfield, which is the normal course of business. As time moves on, I'll tell you about the lawyer that I ended up having to hire who wouldn't release any of it because he did nothing. Here's Breton Hatfield telling Ashley, that he's having to consult with his clients, whether Jim and Dave, and the conflict. There might be a potential oh, now there's a conflict. Okay. I must have a complete understanding with my potential clients before I can take actions on their behalf. Oh, all of a sudden, now you need to act with prudence? All of a sudden, you need to, like, find out what's really happening, Breton? And he didn't like me, the random person in Maryland. He wants to be cautious, given the attitude of your client. That's what he told my client. And then he has issues with Ashley even being present in the matter, because he thought he was going to skate away with having done what he done, and never even knew that there was me, maybe. I don't know. Somebody would have to clue me in on that point, Breton, because you just called me a random person in Maryland. So anyway, here we have Breton Hadfield that saying that my mom has a truck and a home. And that would assist Pam and my other potential clients and understand, why are you even filing for probate? That's what he wants to know from my lawyer. What do you mean? Oh, you know what I wrote about Breton? Why he's angry at me? Because, yeah, the attitude of my client, her client, Ashley's, because I wrote right on their Facebook page. It's all good till it's not, right, Breton? Why have you gone MIA while representing my mother's estranged, disinherited, lying adult children while she was a resident at Legacy House of Logan? You refused my phone call, and now you're not responding to my attorney's emails to you or subsequent calls made to your office. What's up with that, Breton? We've requested documents and inventories, and we want the ill-gotten power of attorney you apparently prepared at the request of my lying siblings. I've been waiting for a year and a half to see what language is in that ill-gotten legal document that absolutely prevented me from communicating with my mother and caused all the Utah agencies and the Legacy House of Logan to treat me as if I have the plague. There was no legal basis to stop me from communicating with my mother. Man up, Breton. The jig is up, and my mother died on 12/27 under the care and control of her 3 estranged, disinherited, lying adult kids. And they stole her from Gold Creek in Berlin, Maryland, while she was a resident in their secure memory care unit due to Alzheimer's with behavioral disturbance. No one let me know, the only child of hers and her durable power of attorney, who maintained a loving and close relationship, when she was dying at Logan Regional Hospital from 12/21. That's right, I got the records from Logan Regional. So she was admitted on 12/21, so that's the time when I was calling. That's when I was asking the facility, please get help for my mother. To 12/27/2019. Where are you, Breton? You're still MIA. I'm coming for you all legally. Man up, B. Call the opposing counsel who has emailed and left voice messages. We are waiting. And that man didn't want to release that power of attorney that he had fraudulently prepared at the request of my sister, Pam Pratt. So he put off my lawyer, costing me money. And so these lawyers start off with their little this and that and the other, and he doesn't. Oh, Janice is domiciled here. Janice isn't domiciled here. Causing, should this be fought in Utah, or should this be fought in Delaware, or should this be fought in, costing me money, acting like retarded professionals. My attorney told him, receiving a copy of the power of attorney from Pamela that Pamela was acting under, at least receiving assurances from you that no property is being dissipated by Pamela, would go a long way in relieving my fears and concerns. And you know what Breton Hadfield did? He cared less. And then that lawyer went south. And here's where my mom's, that was a storage unit that my siblings just tossed my mom's, that don't even belong to my mom. They just bought it to outfit her room and then just left it there. And apparently didn't even pay the storage facility. That's what they said they were going to do anyway, so who knows what they really did, allegedly. This was the facility that they put my mother in. There was a aide that was stealing opioids from the residents. notified the Logan City Police Department, the same police department that I had called for a welfare check that Robin Goody denied the police officer. But now all of a sudden they've got this aide running around stealing opioids from the residents. So what does the Logan City Police Department do? Oh, they jump right on it. They install cameras. In this particular case, as soon as we were notified by the family, we agreed to the investigation, participated with the local authorities in catching the individual, and cooperated in the arrest. That's Megan Seiler. Remember I talked about her? She was the manager of that facility at the time that my mother was there. She shut me off from my mother too, because I think she'd been lied to and told that there was a protection from abuse order. So then Ashley fired me because I questioned why first 2 weeks had gone by because my emails were all cached, and so that was a bad start. Then she's being bullied by Brett, and she's putting up a pretty good fight. But then I called her out of not listening to the recording before she went to the hearing. Like, be prepared. Understand your case. Listen to what your client has provided you. She goes, oh, well, I couldn't really hear it. It wasn't coming through. So they're technologically not advanced at, what was it called? The name of that law firm? Hilliard, Anderson, and Olson. Yeah. And I gave them hell because they deserved it. So then I went into the market again over there in the Logan, Utah legal community. Flippin' nightmare. Flippin' nightmare. I'm telling all these attorneys my story. Where's the confidentiality? All these attorneys are sipping cocktails over the 5 o'clock happy hour, sharing about their clients and how much they're charging them while they're out there doing fiddly nothing. Sam Goebel, Byington and Goebel. I had called them once before. I'd called most all these law firms once before. I'm sure I called Peck Hadfield too, because some of the law firms that I called said that they had a conflict of interest. So here I am telling my whole story to the actual law firm who's representing my siblings. And then they tell me they have a conflict of interest. That's the kind of unethical behavior that goes on in these little towns. It happened in Salisbury, Maryland with Susan Seidel Tillman and Alan A. Anderson. Complicit. Alan A. Anderson prostituted himself. And the victim was my mother. I'm just the collateral damage, as I've said before. This whole time for truth is because I'm bringing the receipts about what went on. You know, when I say 2018, 2019, no, this went on up until 2021. Even more so because the lawyer, Sam Goebel, after he lost my case, he was still sending me an invoice for $10,000. Thinking he was going to get paid $10,000 after he lost my case. Like, retarded. I can't say it any other different. That's people who are retarded. So anyways, he got another complaint to the bar, but it took me calling out one of the senators in Utah on X, Twitter, old Twitter, you know, back when, that's why Twitter is no longer, because they were a bunch of liars too, claiming men can be women. Anyways, back to the story. What am I at? 23 minutes. I think I'm going to break here. I'm going to break here and just sit on this for a minute because I believe that Ashley Bowen, I believe that she could have done a good job. Look, she looks like my mom. She reminded me of my mom. When I saw her on the website, I thought, oh, and she handles estate law. I felt so good. And once she got the documents out of the cached server of their website, she provided the will to Breton. She did everything up front. She was on it after that, other than the fact that her grandfather had died recently. So then she was not on doing the subpoenas that I needed to have done. She was not on, putting the pressure really on Breton, because he was just absolutely an embarrassment to the legal community in Logan, Utah. I would guess that his law firm, I left them a Google review. It's there because they responded to it. And I said, you can ask Breton. He's a liar, though, so good luck with that. And that's right. Breton Hadfield is a flaming liar. But, I don't know what Pam told him. because Pam was telling stories to the Logan City Police Department about me. Lies. Yeah, and there was talk about my mom's competency. So at any rate, I'm going to end this one with this. That was the end of the first lawyer in Utah, Ashley Bowen. And then I was thrown out into the legal wolves again, telling my story, trying to get help. All the while, my mom's dead in Utah. And Pam and them are still acting with the mortuary. I'd already bought a bond for my mom in Salisbury, Maryland. At that point, the lady that I met with, she said, just whatever money you want to put down. And then my siblings had control, thought they did, they didn't. And nothing was really done about that. So at any rate, I'm going to end this on a positive note, a real note. I've been practicing with these little Chinese, I found them at a thrift store. They're so cool. So they're called iron ball direction. And you learn how to practice with your hands. They have music in them. But it's for dexterity, because I'm going to get back to my speed bag. I have to watch when I do this over my computer, otherwise I'll break the screen, because these suckers are heavy. But anyways, I'm doing a little meditative work and dealing with, the emotional fallout of, bringing all this stuff up. Because it's all been so much an absolute nonsense of dealing with people who lie and connive in my own family. That's where it started. And then they pulled professionals into it, and the professionals showed so little ability to discern or even question. Let's find out the other side of the story before I'm talking about Brett and Hatfield here in Logan, Utah, instead of fraudulently preparing a power of attorney. And shame on Pam. She knew that Jan would never, ever, ever want her in charge of her, because she had disinvited her even to her wedding, as we all know. Aligned herself with her father, ostracized and shunned her own mother. And she has the audacity to walk into a law firm, tell lies about me with no evidence whatsoever. That's where the victimizing happened. And I wasn't the victim. My mom was the victim. And all the professionals that allowed themselves to be sucked into that, shame on you. And when you tune in and you hear what I'm talking about, do better next time. Don't let any other family go through what I've been put through and what my mother was put through. Being isolated, abandoned, abused, injured, broken femur, eating her rings. That's the other thing. Where's that? Pamela Pratt had to return her property. They stuck all of her stuff into some random, and then tried to get me to pay for it. Demanded that I pay for their storage unit. This is the audacity of those people. Pam Pratt had to return my mother's rings. Here's one of them. A pretty little turquoise ring that my mom had actually gotten in Tucson. My mom had on this ring also, and she had one exactly like it that had emeralds. But no, I never saw that ring again. This ring came. I have no idea who this ring is from. That's not my mother's ring. But the documents show that my mother was sitting trying to eat her rings with her food. These are the documented incidences that occurred where my mother was out of her mind. And this was in Salisbury, Maryland, too. And at Atria, when she was in assisted living, where she fell. Nobody could tell me why. Filing reports all along the way. Nobody cares. That's what I told a insurance care manager. Called me today. I said, don't call me anymore, because you don't follow up and do anything. What's the point? What's the point? And I told him I started a YouTube channel too. You know what he wanted to know? The name of my YouTube channel. I said, absolutely not. When you do something for me, maybe I'll share my YouTube channel with you. But you've done nothing for me. No. Just don't even call me again. That's the level that I've gotten to, of standing my ground, because I have been made to be this way by virtue of abuse, legal warfare. So, with my next broadcast, I'm going to be talking about Sam Goebel at Byington and Goebel. I'm going to be talking about the order that was handed down by Judge Thomas L. Wilmore. And I'm going to, this was actually produced by, here you go, by Breton Hatfield. Look at that. He wrote the order for Judge Thomas L. Wilmore, who ranted and raved, called Pam as the personal representative of the estate, had to be corrected by legal counsel. The judge wasn't even right in his mind. Ancient. Had no business sitting on the bench, Thomas. So I don't know what went on behind the scenes with him and Breton Hatfield and Peck Hatfield. This is what it was. Peck, Hatfield, Baxter, and Moore. Yeah, but Hatfield's no longer on the name. What happened? I filed a complaint against him with the bar. I let them know everything that he did. Guess what? They didn't care. But there were people in his law firm that sat on that board at that bar. So they got wind of it. So maybe they didn't like associating with a liar, Breton Hatfield. Flat out liar. Did a lot of harm to my mother. And then called me some random person in Maryland, a vexatious litigant. It's the reckoning, Breton. Susan Seidel Tillman, Alan A. Anderson, Thomas L. Wilmore, calling all y'all out. Legacy House of Logan, Atria Salisbury, Gull Creek. At every turn, I was shut down. I was disregarded. My mother's legal documents were ignored. Nobody cared. So next up will be Sam Goebel, Logan, Utah. Charged me a huge retainer. Got his facts wrong. The man never even spelled my name right. And when I called him out on it, he said it's autocorrect. He submitted documents to the court under a different name, not even mine. Like copying and pasting. Sam Goebel. Goble. So anyways, it's going to get interesting. It's always good to kick a lawyer in their ass and then hire appellate level counsel and go after opposing counsel. And that's exactly what I did. I'll be talking about it. Ciao.